you know, this will release those medical records to them. I believe in some cases, in some states, the hospitals may not be obligated to give up that information, but if they release is signed, then it has to be released. Another thing is a letter of intent. Intent. Excuse me. And that is just simple, a non-binding personal letter to the ones that you love that expresses your desires and your special requests. For example, my wife wants to have a tiara on her head, and she wants to have a scepter. And for the day that we got married, my only thing that she wants me to do is find a way to have her arm go up to raise that scepter in the casket. But this is in her letter of intent. She wants me to do this. Yes, everybody's smiling, and I smile too.
I'm speechless, Calvin. I don't know what to say.
I think that is wonderful. I want to be there. More power to
John Waters.
It'll certainly be memorable.
Yeah,
you know what she wants, and that's your responsibility.
Well, that's true.
And job to make sure that it happens.
Yeah, I don't know how right now, but I believe as a growing up practicing to be an engineer, there's an answer to everything. So
Yes,
I just have to find out a way to make this happen. Even if it just goes up once or twice, I think I'm done. I think I'm good.
Okay.
There's a lot of
I have a question.
Everybody that's in the service is going to run out. They're going to be scared to death, right?
Yeah. Well, that was my question. Is the audience going to know this beforehand, or is that
like some kind of like movie playing? Like flashing back to her being legal.
Animation. I'm out.
I mean, Kelvin, you're from the theater, and there's a theatricality to funerals. I mean, they're like the original theater in a way, and it's really for the living too, the whole thing. So I'm sure with your theatrical abilities, you're going to find a technical answer to.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Happen.
Oh yeah, as final request, I got to find a way to make this happen. So anyway, let's move on. Let's move on a little further into this and end of life directives. And I'm going to put this question out for anyone that wants to answer. Why do people plan their own funerals? Why do people plan their own funerals?
They know what they want and they know what they don't want.
Okay.
My mom was very specific, and she got what she wanted. It was kind of, I think the point that you just made there for the living as well, was at first because it was such a, she wanted to be cremated. She wanted her ashes to be interned. She didn't want any of her children to have any part of her. It was very like, when I'm done, I'm done was kind of how I was interpreting it. And it was at first hard for us to really we can't have you with us at all. But we know that's what she wanted. And so we're happy that we were able to make sure that she got exactly what she wanted. And at the end, it's her life. We have our memories and pictures and stuff like that. So sorry to jump in, but yeah, I think it's, what you want. I'm sure part of my mom was like, other people are going to mess it up. They're going to do it wrong. So yeah, I'm just going to make sure that you this is literally my final wish. You're going to do what I want.
Yeah, it gives you the chance to have it your way, from the size of the headstone and its inscription to the location of the burial plot and everything else. It means you get a chance to tell your story your way.
Absolutely. It makes it so much easier in the planning process, because when you walk into a funeral home, they bombard you with so much unnecessary stuff. And emotionally, you're not even thinking about the costs. A lot of the costs are not necessary. You know, if people don't remember that person from whatever period in their life, then a little memory card's not going to help you. You know, most people get these things and they wind up throwing them in the garbage later on. You know, specifically, I want to be buried this way. This is what I want to wear. This is where I want to go. That, like Amy said, you know the specifics. But one of the things that I've encountered is a lot of people don't have the question, don't ask the question of their parents, those who are in a position where they're going to pass away. They don't have that conversation with them to prepare. And then when they start the preparations for their service, it's so many things they can't do because they don't have the legal rights to do it.
Yeah.
And you don't know where the insurance papers are. They don't even check to see if their parents' insurances are current, how much they are, because a lot of parents bought insurance policies back when insurance, you know, death benefits were $5,000, you know, and there are additional costs. You need to check. You need to pull that policy out, make sure it's current, and if not, fix it, you know.
So Mark, during the time of a loved one's death, for the living to have to make these preparations, it's sometimes the lowest point of their lives. You know, they don't know where to go, what to do, or whatever. Why is it that funeral homes, cemetery directors, even the people that make the headstones, inscribe it, why do they take advantage of people when they're at that lowest point?
It's really sad. We live in a capitalistic society where people are trying to make money. I mean, war is a money-making business for so many major companies in the United States of America. There are people profiting off of what's happening in the Ukraine right now, and that really wouldn't mind having war because they make so much money. Former vice presidents, do we need to name their names, have made millions off of war. And I just, you know, all of the COVID-19 epidemic, the last 2 years, you know, when we were all staying at home, watching the numbers just keep going up, and all of a sudden it's like 800,000 people have died of COVID. The pandemic of COVID was, for me, it just brought up it triggered all of these memories of living through the AIDS epidemic, because I graduated from high school in 1981 and I turned 18 on June 5th, which I think was the first day that the CDC declared AIDS an epidemic. And I grew up and came of age in a time of AIDS. And between 1985 and 1995, I think I had over 50 friends that died of AIDS. In Kansas City, in the theater, a whole generation of people that weren't ready to die. These are young people. And I went to so many funerals of people who were gay, and their families erased that part of their life completely. One of our local theater directors in Kansas City, this beautiful man who I had worked with in A Kiss of the Spider Woman, the play, he played Melina. And I just remember the lights going down on his monologues. But I went to his funeral, and it was in like eastern Jackson County, and his family was like, "Our Jimmy." It was like a whole different world, you know. All these theater people go to this funeral, and it's this whole different world where they're trying to save our soul on this minister at this service. It just reminded me of, like, none of these people were ready to die. None of these people had funerals that represented who they were. They were all represented by what the family wanted to have known by that person. And it was just, their lives were just erased. And so COVID brought back a lot of that. Plus, during the whole time of COVID, we didn't have a lot of funerals. I had so many friends that died that we couldn't gather together to celebrate their life. And so it's like kind of weird. Are they gone? Because funerals are so important for all of us to recognize the passing of another person. But I have friends who are in the mortuary business, and they have to pay the bills, and raise their families. And it's not an easy life. It's not an easy job doing that work. And I think that at least they offer people options. I mean, some people want to have the Cadillac of caskets, to be buried in. And I'm one of those people that I want to be composted in a garden. That's how, I'll be happy if I become compost. That's is my idea of what to be done after I'm gone from this planet. But I really, it's disgusting that people profit so greatly off of such a horrible time for people,
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know what? My casket is going to be a Cadillac. Boom. But
a really good friend of mine who passed away 2 years ago, we called him Jim the Blind Guy because he was blind and he wanted people to call him that. But one of my favorite quotes that he said was, "You don't see a U-Haul attached to the end of the funeral procession. Basically you can't take it with you,
That's right.
So
that's right.
Maybe that's your way of doing it with a Cadillac of caskets."
That's it. No, that's the theater in me. I think that would be something big, and they'll be talking about that forever. But I do plan to write my own eulogy, because eulogies basically are focusing on the deceased. And I would like mine to, yes, focus on me a bit, but also focus on the ones that I love. I want to express that. And that's often lost in eulogies. I've given this some thought in the last 30 days, a lot. And I'm definitely going to write my own eulogy. It can be a work in progress. I'm going to tell my wife where to find the file and give her the encryption so that she can get to it. But because I think it's important to ensure that those close to you will be recognized as well. So,
Calvin, if I can make a comment here.
Absolutely.
My situation is that I actually have a burial spot. My parents, I have one through my parents, who are both gone now. And I'll mention that they both have tombstones. And on my father's tombstone is his military record. On my mother's tombstone, she wrote 3 words: quite a gal. She was quite a gal.
Cool.
But there are 2 spots there for my sister and I. My sister and I don't get along very well, but that's another story. So I'm I haven't figured out what I'm going to do with it. My sister is married. She has a child, and I'm married. I'm not sure what's going to happen on that. Personally, I have some decisions I have to make. Cremation is certainly an option on that, but there's a spot there. I go out to the cemetery once in a while. I walk over it. That's the planned place for me as of right now when I'm done here. So.
Okay, very good.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about some things that you need to do before you die. I pulled up some some information, and the first thing it said: before you die, find something to enjoy about every day. Find something to enjoy about every single day. And that's a good way to, if you can do this in the morning, it's a good way to start your day, with a positive thought, something that's going to be enjoyable, that can stick with you throughout that day. Another thing was make a bucket list, things that you want to do. I'm definitely in favor of that. I remember a movie with Morgan Freeman, and it was around 2007 or so.
Queen Latifah, is that the one you're thinking of?
It was Jack Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson, that's the one, and they were in a nursing home together, and they made a bucket list of things that they were going to do, and they went on the road and started living their lives. I'm getting some feedback from someone.
It's probably me. Hold on.
That's much better. Thank you. And